Hi everyone, my name's Eno. I'm the Chief Vibes Officer over at Sanctum. Behind me, you can see we've had a very successful liquid pitch night for Sanctum, as well as our partners. That includes Jupiter, Bonk, Drift, Orca, Titan, MetaDAO. All sorts of players have come here just to talk about their projects and what you can look forward to with them.
So this is an opportunity for projects to pitch both institutional and retail investors who are interested in learning a little bit more about their various products and their offerings. It's a great opportunity to really just get out in front of people, talk a little bit about yourselves, and have a great night afterwards.
It's always important to get a chance to connect with community members and really have discussion around what you're building, because ultimately in crypto, it's a community effort.
Number one, we want to make sure that we put blue chip protocols in front of liquid funds so they can get more liquidity. And number two, we want to make sure that liquid funds can come to events like these and tell their boss that they did their job. In just 1 or 2 hours, they can listen to all the top protocols in Solana, give their pitch as to why their native token makes sense to invest in. So thank you very much for joining the Inner Sanctum.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm great to be here. This talk's going to be a little bit of a different talk today. I'm not actually going to talk about Sanctum specifically or LSTs. This is the title of my talk. It's The Grifter's Guide: How to Enrich Your Friends and Dump on Retail. Yeah. So let's go. This is a collaboration between Wasi Lawyer and me. So he's not here today, so it's just me. But let me tell you a bit about myself. So I'm the co-founder of Sanctum. Sanctum is liquid staking on Solana. We're one of the largest liquid staking protocols on Solana. We issue liquid staking tokens as a service. But really what this is about is that I've been building this for 4.5 years. I've launched a token, and I've seen some shit, man. And I wanted to, this stuff, like a lot of the insiders know that it happens, but a lot of people don't. And I kind of wanted to just kind of like call it out and let you guys know. So yeah, these are all things that we've personally seen or has been suggested to us as a way to pump our token. Yeah. So the grifting starts pre-TG, of course. You're gonna start early, build hype, not product, right? Building product, as you know, is very hard. So you should just buy followers instead. My DMs, you've got like hundreds of them. It's like you can buy like 100,000 followers. Just whatever, right? Give KOLs lots of tokens to show the project. There's no shortage of these guys as well. So yeah. Second thing, pump the valuation. This is a pretty dirty trick, right? So you tell everyone you raised the last private round at like $1 billion or some ridiculous number valuation. Everyone gets really excited. They come in FOMO. But really, never mind that the last round was only $500,000, or if they gave you the $500,000 and then you gave it right back. Yeah. Then of course, a token is all about supply and demand. So you've got to line up demand, right? How do you do that? Well, you just ask the funds, hey, would you mind buying some of the token on the open market? And I'll give you a discount. I'll just issue some tokens to you from the foundation. Yeah. And of course, constrict supply. Supply is control is very important. So you've got to make sure nobody can sell their tokens, right? There are many ways to do this. You can do like the classic, low float, high FDV. This was more popular in like the Alameda days, the 2022 days, but it still happens today. You can pre-sale to a lot of like insiders, right? Or you can snipe the supply. The meme coin thing is pretty hot right now, right? So you just sell lots of to the insiders and then just dump on them, right? Easy. This is a pretty funny tweet actually. Andrew Tate says, "I'm cleaning up this space." Like, no, he fucking isn't. Like fuck off. I know it's the same thing, right? And then TG, woo, like everyone's really happy. It's like hype and stuff. So that's where the grifting really starts. I want to tell you a little bit about OTC. And OTC stands for over the counter. It's a way for kind of protocols to kind of sell their tokens off the market, basically. And like OTC is not bad. It's not a grift, right? There are very legitimate reasons to sell OTC, right? Projects can and should use their tokens as a strategic resource. Some good reasons are, for example, to fund future initiatives, right? Hiring more people, acquiring a company, right? Basically capitalize strategic expansion. And especially if you're doing a large sale, definitely you want to do OTC so that you reduce market volatility, right? You don't want these big candles up and down. Yeah. The issue really is that if it's undisclosed, then shady stuff can and does happen, right? So I want to tell you guys a little bit about the OTC loop. Just follow me in 3 simple steps how you can pump your token, right? So the first step is that you take some of the treasury that you have and you buy your token on the market, and then you pump the price, right? Then the price goes up. The VCs come in or the liquid funds say, "Oh my God, this project looks amazing. You guys have got lots of traction." I say, "You know what? Can you sell me OTC?" I say, "Absolutely, and I'll sell it to you at a discount as well, right? A discount, right?" And then they give you the money, right? Those OTC tokens usually are locked up for a duration, which means they can't sell. Which means what you can do is that you can get the money that you just got from the OTC proceeds to buy more of the token, and then you pump the price. Wonderful, brilliant, great idea, right? And so it kind of looks like this, right? You go up, bum, 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 bum. It's like, wow, everyone's like super hyped, super excited. This is like, next coming of Jesus Christ. Like the token goes up. Unfortunately, the party has to stop at some point. And this kind of happens. This is not like a chart that it should be a stranger to anyone. So this why am I talking about this, right? Like, I think it really matters. And again, I think those who are in the know in this space, like, we kind of accept that it happens, but like, a lot of people don't. And yeah, grifters give us all here a bad rap. You know, this whole thing is about institutions, right? We're talking about getting the institutions, but like, if crypto is just like synonymous with like a fucking cesspool, then like, you know, they're not gonna want to come, right? And also, like, I don't know about you, but I care about my users. You know, I'm not about insiders, so retail users really matter. And if we want mass adoption, like, you know, we can't just keep dumping on them. Like, that's not cool. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, good founders will burn out when they see bad deeds go unpunished. I got like really depressed last year when I saw all this crap. And I'm like, why am I building this space, right? Like, and like, if you ask around, you know, some of the founders will tell you that they feel exactly the same way. Yeah. We can do better. We say no to all these things. No botted metrics, no inflated valuations, no strangled supply, no shady deals, no undisclosed OTC deals, right? We want to say yes to fair launch, large circulating supply, distributed holder set, try to prevent snipers as much as you can. Disclose all OTC deals. Obviously, don't disclose them in advance because people are going to front run you, but you should definitely disclose them after. Yeah, we've never done any OTC deals. We've never sold a single token, but you know, if and when we do, we'll make sure to disclose. Disclose all deals. You know, I didn't have time to go in this talk, but the full retainer model is preferred. And then obviously, you want to account for all tokens. I want to give a quick shout out to kind of like two protocols. One is MetaDAO. You know, that fucking weirdo who walked on stage just now with the mask, right? Like that guy, you know, that the whole treasury, not the whole treasury, part of the treasury is controlled by decision markets, which means that any kind of token sale or issuance only happens if it's net good for token holders. Jupiter, I really like these guys. They have regular hi Xiong. Regular community audits, they track all movements of the Jupe treasury tokens. I would like that audit to be done sort of like with a third party ideally, but I'm sure they're going to do that very soon. Yeah, yeah, demand more from your projects, call out bad actors. You know, I'm doing it right now, but I hope more people start to do this. And yeah, I'm looking for partners if we can do a token transparency framework. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming today. Sanctum has come a long way since we started, with many new developments and many ups and downs. Today, I want to take stock of what we've achieved together and where we're going next. 2 years ago, there was something like 5 liquid staking tokens in the space, and less than 2.5 of SOL was liquid stake. Nobody believed in liquid staking. And Sanctum, which was called Socian at the time, had less than 50,000 SOL in AUM. We chose to believe in liquid staking. We had a vision where every validator, DeFi app, and exchange would have their own liquid staking token, and all of it would be built upon a unified liquidity layer built by Sanctum. Today, there are over 1,000 different liquid staking tokens, so our dream has come true. The Sanctum way is always to uplift others to uplift ourselves. Our partners' liquid staking tokens have grown immensely. They are used in every DeFi protocol across all of Solana. Thanks to our partners, we are the 4th largest protocol on Solana with over 13 million SOL, which is over $2 billion in AUM. And we are the 22nd largest protocol across all of crypto. In 2023, Sanctum made $6,000. In 2024, Sanctum made $480,000, just under $500,000. And so far this year, as of July, we have made more than $3 million already. This is a very promising trend, and cumulatively, our partners and stakers have earned more than $100 million. So, we are doing very well, but we are not stopping. We are onboarding new partners every day, we are making our infrastructure better and more robust, and we are always trying to deliver more and more value to our partners and stakers. Even though liquid staking is a large and growing business, we are not content with business as usual. Now, everyone in the space can see that Solana adoption is accelerating. The next 12 months are going to be critical for Solana and crypto more broadly. We need to build robust infrastructure that is able to handle 100,000 transactions per second. However, transaction delivery is still something many applications struggle with today, especially in times of congestion. So, 6 months ago, we decided to expand into a brand new vertical from liquid staking infrastructure to transaction delivery infrastructure. Early this year, Sanctum acquired Ironforge. Ironforge is one of the most trusted infrastructure providers in the Solana ecosystem. Ironforge was founded by Italo, a veteran engineer with almost 2 decades of experience. He has a lot of experience managing very senior technical teams. Now, not many people know this, but Ironforge has quietly operated one of the most reliable transaction infrastructure on Solana. At its peak, Ironforge was handling up to 1/3 of all transaction volume, which played a vital role in keeping the chain running smoothly. We've brought the Ironforge team into the Sanctum team, bringing years of back-end and infrastructure expertise to us. Now together, we've made the Sanctum engineering team stronger than it's ever been. And together, we've built out a brand new product, Gateway. Our new product, Gateway, helps Solana protocol developers optimize, deliver, and observe transactions in real time. It solves a critical infrastructure problem many applications struggle with today. We believe that people should be able to build performant and reliable applications without having to worry about the complexities of the Solana network. Whether you're running a stablecoin yield protocol, a trading platform, a DePIN protocol, or anything in between, Gateway will help you to do so. We are very, very proud of Gateway. We spend a lot of time on it. It is currently in beta, and we will keep improving it until Gateway becomes an integral part of every Solana application. Cloud is Sanctum's token. It represents our community, our mission, and our ethics. Everything that we do with Cloud is an expression of what we stand for and what we believe in. Especially in this space, I think it's very important to be a good person and to do the right thing. With the stakes so high and so much money on the line, I think it's very hard to do so, but we have to do the right thing. In the lead up to our token generation event, we showed how we believe tokens should be. We rewarded good and earnest people in this space, not just mercenary farmers. We did not buy engagement, we did not do shady influencer or TVL deals, and we did not pay any centralized exchange to list the Cloud token. We changed lives with the Cloud airdrop. We have gotten so many messages saying, "Thank you, I was living paycheck to paycheck before, and this gives me a little bit of breathing room." There was one message which affected me especially deeply. He said, "This has changed my life because previously I was stuck in Russia and about to be conscripted. I did not have the money to buy a plane ticket. Your airdrop might have saved my life." Messages like this is what keeps us going in the most difficult time. The Cloud community is the most active, supportive, and nicest people you will ever find in this space. We continue to rally people with good hearts around the Cloud token. Early this year, Sanctum onboarded over 1,600 unique participants onto governance, which passed critical votes governing Cloud emissions from the community treasury. And just recently, we conducted a full internal Cloud audit, which accounted for every single Cloud distribution and movement since token genesis. And we were one of only 2 teams to receive a perfect score on Blockworks' Token Transparency Report, which shows our commitment to doing everything transparently and the right way. Now, Cloud price over the past year, like all tokens, has fluctuated a lot. We are not worried. We are building a very strong business with very strong fundamentals, and value will eventually flow to Cloud holders. We are very proud of Cloud, and what it stands for, and we are putting a renewed focus on it. Today, I'm glad to announce the new cloud page. In the page, you can see everything you want to know about cloud. We built this page to tell the cloud story from start to finish, to tell the world what cloud stands for and why. On the page, you can see the full breakdown of circulating supply, future emissions, videos, governance votes, everything. This was a labor of love from the Sanctum team, so we hope that you will enjoy it. Finally, a personal note. When we started Sanctum 4 years ago, we were called Socian at the time. We really could not have expected that it would all have led to this. We consider ourselves immensely privileged to be here today, to have even the chance to play the greatest game with the greatest people in the greatest and most exciting space in the world. Now, we are not perfect. We have made many mistakes along the way, and we will definitely continue to make many mistakes as well. But we will always learn from our mistakes, and I promise you that we will always stay honest, humble, and hungry. Thank you very much for your time.
Hi everyone, my name's Eno. I'm the Chief Vibes Officer over at Sanctum. And today, I'm joined by FP, who's the co-founder of Sanctum. 2024 was obviously Sanctum's breakout year.
Yes.
Just take me through that journey, man. Like, you had built up all this infrastructure in 2023, finally got your shit together. What happened in 2024?
Yeah, so first of all, it was the rebrand, right? So we had gone from Socian, right? We had still ran the Socian stake pool. We had Unstake It, which was completely different brand, and we actually had this name Sanctum in 2023, and it was like a logo that looked like an arrow. But then, like, obviously, Cleon came and he was like, okay, let's make it cute, right? And then he did like 300 different iterations on the logo.
300? Jeez.
More probably. You have to ask Cleon. Right? We did like various domes and houses and stuff, but eventually we settled on the cloud. And for the life of me, I can't remember why a cloud. You have to ask Cleon for that. But yeah, so like new rebrand, right? We wanted, I think the rebrand, the point is that, like, a lot of DeFi protocols at the time were going for like cool, like powerful, like, like we're so smart, but we were like, we're cute, we're cute, we're safe, we're reliable, because that's what Sanctum is. We are very kind of like reliable brand. We're not like maximal degen, right? That's what Sanctum provides. And so that was the first step. And then after that, like bringing these three pieces together, right? Bring Unstake It under the Sanctum Reserve, right? Upgrade the Socian stake pool program into the Infinity program, and then build this router as well for Jupiter. So all these pieces came together in late 2023 and early 2024.
I actually love the story of why you called the company Sanctum, right? So like, why is it so important to you that the company was called Sanctum of all things?
Right, so Sanctum means safe space, right? Pretty much. Like inner sanctum, right? And we wanted this to be a very safe place for you to put your soul, right? But also, there's another reason, which is that like crypto is just kind of like a cesspool, right? Like it's just a lot of rugs and scams and all this nonsense, right? And we wanted Sanctum to be an oasis, right, of like not rug, right? So not just that the product will not rug you, right? It's also that the company, right, the protocol itself is a safe space for the people who love crypto but feel kind of let down by all this nonsense, all this crap, right? And that's like that resonated with all of us, right? Because we've been in crypto for so long, and yeah, that's where we came up with the name.
I think that's one thing that really defines the DNA of this company. On the one hand, you're quite skeptical of all the things that you see out there in the industry because, as you put it, there is a lot of crap, right? But on the other hand, right, it really is life-altering technology that is able to attract capitals in ways that was never possible before, right? So like, how do you square these two things?
I think it's pretty easy to square, which is that whenever you have a kind of like transformational technology, and I really do believe like crypto is transformation technology. It's like, it's going to change the world, right? there's transformational technology and then there's grifters, right? And it's like wherever there's transformational technology or anything at all, you have grifters that come, right? Like so, it's just the way of the world. You have grifters in every industry, right? You have grifters in AI, you have grifters in healthcare, every industry really. And so I think crypto is where like the grifting is especially naked and transparent because it's all about money and it's like whereas like in other spaces maybe it isn't. But there's like grifters everywhere, and so like it's nothing special really. Yeah.
So in 2023, you got all your shit together and you start consolidating the vision for what would become Sanctum. You built out the Sanctum router, you built out the Infinity program, and also this Sanctum Reserve, right? Which were all repurposed parts of the company that had already existed, right? So in 2024, essentially you had what would eventually become Sanctum V1, right? So what was the Sanctum V1 thesis and how did it play out?
Yeah, so the Sanctum V1 thesis, that kind of like the slogan that we all labeled under was the infinite LST future, which of course means that there's lots of LSTs for all kinds of reasons, right? Everyone can create an LST. And but people were kind of rightfully skeptical. The common rejoinder was like, okay, like why do I need infinite LSTs? Like aren't they like there's Shido Sol and there's M Sol and there's V Sol? Like okay, why do I need anything else, right? And of course, like it was a pretty uphill battle. But like for us, to be honest, like when people ask me like why infinite LST future, I didn't quite know either, right? We hadn't quite found like PMF for like the infinite LST future. But like the thesis that did carry me forward is like, now I'm not exactly sure why they're going to be infinite LST futures, but I do know that when the marginal cost of creating a new LST and maintaining that LST, thanks to Sanctum's like unified liquidity layer, when that marginal cost goes to zero, right, then you're going to have 1,000 flowers bloom, and like maybe most of them are going to be shit and they're not going to work out, but right, out of these 1,000 flowers, like there will be sort of like great use cases. So we tried a lot of stuff, right? We tried validated LSTs, protocol LSTs, right? Like we tried creator coins, all this stuff. But eventually we realized that okay, there is a use case for infinite LSTs, or at least like there is a reason for every protocol to create the LST. And the product market fit, I think now today, the strongest one is you earn money when people hold SOL with you. And everyone wants to make money, right? So this is a pretty good PMF. And so, for example, like Jupiter, right? Jupiter is an everything app. They do everything. They have amazing distribution. They have this LST called JupSol, right? Like all these LSTs, pretty much the same concept. You hold the SOL, you get more SOL, right? And so people like Jupiter, they trust Jupiter. When they hold JupSol, they earn yield. So they're like, why not, right? And so the fees that Jupiter earns from JupSol then go straight to the DAO, right? And so this is a case where you earn when people hold SOL with you, right? And this is it, like basically anyone, right, with distribution and trust, right, who doesn't is able to just make money, right? And then Sanctum provides that infrastructure for you to do it, and you don't need to know anything about liquid staking or whatever. You just need to give me your token logo and the name of the token, and as long as you can convince someone to hold that LST of yours, you can start earning money. And that's a very powerful PMF.
I think that the proof is in the pudding. It's not just JupSol now, is it, right? Like it's also DSol from Drift. It's HSol from Helios. It's CDC Sol from Crypto.com. ByBitSol, right? Also DFDV Sol, right? So now we're going into... Yeah, I mean, so, and there's other LSTs that we're dreaming up every single day. Even though at that time, you didn't quite understand how exactly you would play out. You understood that, again, if the marginal cost approaches zero, then there's going to be all sorts of new ideas that come, and who knows, right? Exactly. So, I mean, so essentially the bottom line here is that you dreamed of this infinite LST future, and now how many LSTs do we have issued through Sanctum?
We have like over 1,000.
Yeah, over 1,000.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's still, I mean, 1,000 is still a long way from infinity, to be clear. Pretty far away. But yeah, I mean, so it is clear that sort of like LSTs as a product have product market fit. Yeah. For validators, for protocols, for exchanges, things like that.
Paul Graham has this wonderful quote that you know that you've achieved PMF when you don't feel like you're pushing anymore, but instead that your users are pulling you, right? And having worked at this company now for 6 months, I truly feel like we're being pulled a lot by people in all sorts of directions, right? But and for whatever use case that they're dreaming up, and we're just here to support whatever that may be.
Yes. Yeah. We get many creative ideas from people who want to launch LSTs for this and that purpose. Of course, we are not sitting on our ass. We have to do outreach, right? This is our job. We still have to go out and sell the product. But no, yes, you are right that we do quite a lot of inbound, which is good.
Yeah. You know, we've basically proved out this thesis for Sanctum V1, which is to build out this infinite LST future. And sure, 1,000 LSTs is a far cry from infinite LSTs, but certainly we have achieved some measure of PMF here. And having worked with you over the last 6 months, I have learned that you are incapable of staying still, especially when it comes to your ambition, right? You want to evolve the company. And so now we're moving beyond Sanctum V1 to do what?
Yeah, so we're very happy to announce Sanctum V2, which is the next evolution of Sanctum.
What exactly is Sanctum V2?
So V2 is two things. I'd say, first of all, it's a consolidation and refinement of our existing product suite. And second of all, it's an expansion into a brand new vertical. So let me talk about that consolidation and refinement. Now we've been launching LSTs for our partners for a year, right? We kind of know what works and what doesn't. And then the goal there is really to kind of dial in that product, really kind of explain like what is an LST? Why does it make sense for a partner to launch an LST? Like for whom? Like why? Right? And really just make that product as turnkey and as powerful and as lucrative as possible. So that is V1, right? That is just dialing in the existing LST product. And the second thing is expansion, right? We want to expand into a brand new vertical, and we want to do this because we want to move up the value chain. So the way I think about value flow on Solana is that at the top it's always the users, right? Users use their favorite applications because they want to do something. They want to trade a coin, they want to lend, they want to borrow, right? They want to do all sorts of DeFi, right? It all comes from the user, right? Interacting with the application. Now, the application, right? Because everything's on chain, right? In order for the application to effect anything, it needs to send a transaction, right? And this is usually sent through a transaction delivery service, right? To a validator, right? To perform actually write to the chain. And then, of course, because Solana is a proof of stake network, everything runs on stake. This bottom layer is what Sanctum has been doing. We do all the stake, the liquid staking stuff, right? We are occupying the bottom level of the value chain. Now we're trying to move one rung up, right, and really try to deliver transaction delivery service on Solana. And so that is what V2 is. We're moving up the value chain and really trying to deliver and capture more value in the Sanctum state.
Yeah, and the product that we've built in order to capture that value in between, let's say, the protocols, the apps, the wallets, interfacing with the validators is called Gateway.
Yes.
So please tell us a little bit more about Gateway.
Yeah, so Gateway, I think of it as kind of like air traffic control for Solana, or you can think of it as when you are sending a transaction on Solana, so let's say the user is using an app and is clicking buy or sell or whatever, right? Now when you click buy, that at the end of the day, that has to go through the internet and it has to land on the blockchain, and it has to be sent to a validator, and the validator has to pack the block and so on, and then actually the buy can actually happen, right? So that is the process, right? And the problem with it is that, especially in times of congestion, you kind of this kind of packet just kind of disappears somehow, right? Or it fails for whatever reason, you don't know, right? It's kind of imagine you are calling a taxi, but you have no Uber, right? So you call the dispatcher, it's hey, I would like a taxi here, please send it over this address. And it's okay, right? And then the best effort, the taxi comes, and then you're half an hour later, the taxi is not here, where is it, right? And so that was the past. But what we're building is kind of monitoring, right, air traffic control, right? And so the moment you are, that is, you're sending, you'll know, oh, where is it, right? Just like when you take an Uber, you know where the taxi is, you know where it is delayed, and so on, right? And so that's a service that we provide, to give you like full visibility of all your transactions, which is incredibly important if you want to build a performant application on Solana. And the bottom line really is that you want to allow people to send their transactions and land their transactions like faster and more reliably. So that's the bottom line.
Right. I think another way that one could describe V2 is that there's this soul economy, right? And I've heard you explain to the team that as you move up this stack, you're actually capturing more and more value because there's actually the most value at the top of the stack, right? Yes. Could you go through that a little bit more, like why there's the most value at the top of the stack as opposed to where we've been before?
Yeah, so it's very clear that like Solana as a chain is only going to exist or like only has a reason to exist if like users want to use the chain, right? And so why do users want to use the chain, right? Well, for many reasons, right? They want to, well, primarily they want to make money, right? But even amongst make money, there's a lot of things, right? You could be trading meme coins, right? You could be lending, you could be buying and selling like tokens, right? You could be minting NFTs, right? There's lots of stuff, right? You could be investing in RWAs, right? And so like all of this stuff is driven by a user behavior. What do you want to achieve, right? And so I think everything at the end of the day ends with the user, right? And of course, all of the infrastructure below it is in order to serve the user, right? And just like we've seen that I think my thesis is that whoever captures the user will then capture but there's multiple ways to capture the user. You don't have to be a wallet, for example. You can just build an application that people really want to use. That's another way. Or you could build like a primitive that everybody uses, like for example, LST. But I think everything really, if you talk about like maximally serving like the actual use cases, it has to start and end with user.
Right. Yeah. And in addition to Gateway, that's not the only way that we're trying to capture value between, like, let's say, the protocols, apps, and the wallets with the validators. We're also trying to run Validator as a service as well, right? Do you want to tell people a little bit more about our Validator as a service offering?
Yeah, so this is kind of part of the consolidation and refinement. So when we speak to a lot of protocols, right, a lot of people who want to set up an LST, right, a lot of them actually want to run a validator as well for various reasons. But a lot of them don't necessarily want to develop or buy that expertise in-house to get their own validator. And so at Sanctum, we are willing to offer that service as a full stack staking solution. And this is why I talk about refining the product, right? We used to offer only LSTs. And now if, we can also offer just an LST, but if you want, we can give you that full stack service so that you can control the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So please explain to people just very concisely, what is the full stack product service that we are providing to our partners?
Right, so we give you a fully customizable staking solution, right? And so it has anything that you do with staking SOL, right? And like again, what's the use case? The use case is when people hold SOL with you, within your product, then you make money, right? And so the full stack staking solution is that we'll help you set up a validator and we'll help you launch an LST on top of that validator that then delegates to that validator, obviously. Those are just the features, right? But what does this enable, right? Now it enables, of course, people to do native staking to you right away, right? If they don't want to use liquid staking. But then the liquid staking is a massive unlock, right? Because what does it mean when you have an LST? It doesn't just mean you have an LST. It means that you get instant routing through Jupyter, right? So people are able to enter and exit your LST you don't have to build like a front end, you don't have to build a website, right? People can just use like a wallet, any wallet, and then just go in and start staking with you, right? That's a huge unlock. The second thing that's also a big unlock is that we have all these DeFi integrations, right? So all of our partner LSTs, we're going to be able to use DeFi, right? Like borrow, lend, you use just collateral, leverage staking, etc. Right? All of this stuff is just given to you like full set. Of course, finally you get that base level liquidity layer, right? If your users have an LST with you and then they change their mind, they want to exit, we can supply a lot of sort of like instant liquidity for them, and this is a service we offer to all our partners. But really, this is a full stack staking solution right, with the validator and the LST, and with some other things as well. So if you want like a reserve ratio, right, a particular reserve ratio, if you want a particular delegation strategy, you say, okay, I have 2 validators, can I split between 2? Yeah, absolutely, we can do that. And these are all sort of things that we have done. But yeah, this is the full stack, custom, bespoke staking solution for you. Yeah.
So how would you explain the difference between the product suite of Sanctum V1 versus the product suite for Sanctum V2?
Right. So for V1, we only offered one thing, which was LST, right? So hey, if you want to set up LST, we'll set it up for you, right? And of course, for V1, it's not just set up an LST. Obviously, we had the unified liquidity layer, underpinning it, which allowed then everyone.
Actually, it kind of bothers me how much people trivialize LSTs now, as if like it has always been here, and I'm like, bro, it's been an incredible amount of work.
That's true.
It's almost like we've made the process of making an LST so easy that people undervalue what they're worth. Have you heard of that psychological UI trick where you almost want the page to load a little bit longer, even if you've already finished what you've had to do at the back end, just so that users feel like that something's been done? That's what kind of feels like with LSTs right now.
You are right. Actually, I shouldn't trivialize it so much, right? So it's actually, we built that unified liquidity layer, right, which is then allowing everyone to just launch an LST like that. This was planned. It didn't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, now it's easy, but but because there's like compounding work and...
Yeah, we built a lot of stuff underneath.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for that, like now it's like we can literally spin up an LST in minutes. Now, we don't always have the capacity to do that, relax, but still, like from a technical perspective, it literally takes minutes to spin up an LST. Yeah,
exactly.
Which is a huge engineering feat. Right? Like that's not trivial at all. And also a lot of BD that goes into making sure that you have enough SOL to even make all this work, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
But then tell me more about V2 then, right?
Yeah, so V1, right, is that whole unified liquidity infrastructure, which then allows us to offer that one product, which is LST as a service, right? So for V2, we're absolutely still doing that, right? But that offering is consolidated and refined. So we are also, in addition to offering LST as a service, we're actually offering full stack staking solution. Now, a lot of partners have interest in not just running LST, but also running a validator for various reasons, right? It could be stake-weighted quality of service, it could be just like a different option for people who still prefer native staking, etc. Right? And we're just building out a full stack bespoke staking solution for them. Right now, that includes we'll help you set up the validator, right, in a compliant location, etc. Right, make sure that the uptime is really bang on, and then also, right, the validator on top of validator will have the LST, and the LST will of course delegate to your validator, right. Now, that thing is the feature, right? What it is, but really it's more about what it unlocks, right? So of course it unlocks a revenue stream for anyone that has reputation, right? Anyone who stakes, who holds SOL, whether in your LST or in your validator, you're able to make money from that. The second thing we unlock is because Sanctum is so well integrated at this point, there are like really some compelling advantages to launching with Sanctum. If you launch that full stack staking solution with us, you get pretty much instantly listed on Jupiter, right? You don't have to have a front end. You don't have to build like a thing. You don't have to bring people to your website, right? People can just enter and exit from any kind of like wallet, right? Any kind of front end, they can just go in. Of course, from Sanctum website as well. Instant routing, right? And of course, instant liquidity if your users want to exit. Right? We also have custom delegation rules. So for example, you're like, hey, I have this LST. I would like to split the SOL that comes into 2 different validators. Can I do that? Absolutely, we can. Right? I want to do it 80% here, 20% here, sure. I want to have a custom reserve ratio. I want 20% of the SOL to always be there and not being touched, right? Of course, at the cost of some APY, we can do that too, right? So really, it's like we work with you, and especially a lot of these requirements are kind of institutional in nature, right? It has to do with like domicile, right? It has to do with like reserve ratios or all this stuff, but we can support that full stack staking solution, which is like very powerful for the new institutional clients that are coming on. Yeah. V2, completely different, right? This is the gateway, as you mentioned. This, we think about it like this is the transaction kind of like delivery service, transaction aggregator. The idea is that performant, reliable apps, right? Everything has to touch the chain. Everything is a transaction, right? Like Gateway is the best place to send your transactions. Full stop.
So tell me where the idea for Gateway came from. We understand what it does now, but like, why did you start working on it?
So it's pretty interesting. The way in which this Sanctum V1 came about wasn't really from talking to customers. I just had this dream. I'm like, okay, like it follows from first principles that because of the the nature of staking on Solana, that this is what the landscape of staking looks like. And I think I was like, after doing that work, I was proven right? And so the thesis came to pass. But Gateway was a little bit of a different product. It's a different kind of genesis, which is that this was really driven by our customers. So we realized that when a lot of customers wanted to launch LSTs, a lot of them cared primarily about transaction inclusion, right? Now the reason why you want to launch an LST is you want to control stake, you want to send it to your validator. The reason why you want stake in your validator is because there's this thing on Solana called stake-weighted quality of service, right? Which is that the more stake you control, the more likely it is that your transactions are going to be included into the block, right? Now let's not talk about the technical details, but that's kind of like the gist of it. And so then it becomes, if our if our clients are setting up these LSTs because they want to land their transactions, why don't we make it easy for them to land their transactions, right? And so that's kind of like the process of building this product, right? So we listen to our customers, listen to what they want, and we really just build to their specification. One of the big kind of insights we got is that they care about like observability. So Sanctum is by far not like the first one to build like a transaction delivery service. We have other people doing it as well. But really kind of having that observability and like being able to see like which of these ones work the best, right? We're able to sort of like consolidate and aggregate all of it and surface it up to you as a dashboard. So as a developer, that one's failing, that one's not doing well, right? And you can make adjustments on the fly without having to redeploy your code because it's all on our dashboard. That's a very powerful use case for developers. Long story short, we listen to our users, we listen to what they want, and we just build what they want, and we'll continue to iterate on that product.
Actually, I remember, this is a little bit unrelated to V2, but I think does inform a lot of your thinking. You had this conversation with Xiong, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, stop trying to find the shortcut and do the hard work, right? And so like, I feel this almost is an extension of that thinking, right? It's just doing the hard work and building out what you know that the users want, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of the times, I think my intuition, my predilection is always to kind of like, let's find a clever way to kind of like, what if we tried it like this instead? And it's like sometimes the problem just needs to be tackled like head on, right? So I really took Xiong's advice, tried to take Xiong's advice, and we're going for this now.
Mm-hmm. We're going to change tack here real quick, right? So we've been talking all about Sanctum V2, about what it is in terms of a product. But I think what's really important, especially for cloud holders, is to understand the character of the company, right? And so you gave this wonderful talk in New York, and I remember sitting in the audience, and it's very rare. I do conferences for a goddamn living, okay? And it's very rare that you see audience members put their phones down, right? I obviously wasn't there the entire day, but your talk for the segment the few hours that I was there was the only talk that I saw where people put their phones down. And this talk was, this guy is allergic to compliments, but it's absolutely 100% true. And that talk was all about how to grift and scam your users. I mean, he wasn't actually advising this. What he was actually doing was Trojan horsing this larger lesson of like, this is what some grifty projects do, and this is not what we stand for. So really, it was a bait and switch talk, right? But tell me more about this, like your thoughts around Sanctum, what you want Sanctum to be, not as a product, but as a people, the company.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think it should be. I think it should be not surprising to anyone that crypto has a lot of grifts and scams, and there's a lot of crap out there. Right? I think that's not controversial at all. And I think, but the thing is that, and having been in this space and being like a little bit as a founder, you hear things, you get some of the inner circle shit. It's like there's a lot of crap that goes on that maybe retail is not aware. And so the talk was basically to kind of like point this stuff out. And like, I mean, like, again, like this space is really kind of like transformative. Like this is world-changing technology. But the thing is that crypto just has this terrible reputation precisely because the grifters are so loud and so, and it doesn't go punished, right? And so the purpose of the talk was kind of like draw more attention to that, like for the stuff that we are kind of like complicit in. Even if if we don't speak out, we are condoning it, and that's not good.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the fundamental thing, like as in, why are we all doing all this stuff, right? Like why are we building in this industry? And why Sanctum, right? I think at the end of the day, like we want people to root for Sanctum because I want to build a good business, right? And by good business, it's like, okay, like revenue generating, profitable, good like mode, etc., etc. But also a good business, like good people in it, right? Good people in it doing good things, right? Like ethical stuff, not shady things. And that kind of like resonates with me because I don't want to be, making lots of money at the expense of ethics, right? So that's very important for me. And I think we are quite lucky in that we've managed, as we promised, right, Sanctum as a safe space, we've managed to attract and retain a lot of the people who resonate with that, right? The fact that like the people who align with our values and the way in which we conduct business, right? With a long-term like orientation.
So speaking about just like team culture, right? What are you looking for in a new hire, right? Or what type of people do you want to gather around you?
Yeah, so I think there is this notion of kind of like kampong spirit, and kampong is a Malay word for like village, right? And there is this kind of like camaraderie, like old school notions of like honor and brotherhood, and it's like we are not just here to make money, right? I mean, of course, we are here to make money. I mean, like, clear, like this is a business. We are not running a charity, but like in the process of making money, like can we do it with our head held absolutely high, right? Can we make sure that we are generous to our partners, to our users, to everyone? Like we don't fuck anybody, right? And so like the most important is that cultural fit, like to understand like why it is that we do what we do in the way that we're doing it. And like there are a lot of community members who have joined us precisely because they resonate with that vision. So I want to keep this this standard, really just try to fly the flag high, and then whoever resonates with us is welcome to join us.
I think that sometimes the way that you describe cloud internally is like a mission coin, right? So what exactly is that mission?
The mission is to prove that you can build a good business, like a good crypto business, without having to compromise anything about
Fuck yes.
ethics and morals.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? We don't have to compromise just because people are yelling at us or like there's certain expectations of the product because we're the 4th biggest protocol in Solana, the 22nd biggest protocol in all of crypto, right? I'm sure that there's all people who are yelling at you all the time that you should do this or that with cloud, but we never want to compromise on those standards.
Yeah, I mean, and I think actually this stuff will pay like dividends, in the future. We are laying the groundwork for a good business. Of course, it's not a sure thing, right? Anything can happen, but like as long as we keep executing, I think we'll be in a really, really strong position because of all the good work that we did like in the past and not doing bad stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So to be clear, the goal of the company right now is what exactly?
The goal of the company is really to try and grow, right? To really build multiple profitable lines of business, right? And really make ourselves into a protocol that delivers value as possible to our users and our holders.
We're just about finished with Horizons 2025, and I'd like to end with some exciting new stuff that we're working on. Of course, we can't talk too much about the specifics, but circling back to Gateway, right? We're actually building a consumer-facing version of Gateway. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so Gateway is, of course, a B2B product, right? It's meant for application developers, right? But we want to explain to people, like we want to showcase like what kind of applications, performant applications can be built on top of Gateway. So we're building we're building a showcase right? Which happens to be like a consumer product that people can play around with, and it's meant to be a demo to show like what Gateway can allow you to do. So we're currently working like hard on that right now, and hopefully we'll have something to show very, very soon. Yeah.
So we're also going to be a breakpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to be flying in the entire team, and it's going to be great because we rarely get to see each other. We're always cooking in all our little remote corners of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if you are coming to Abu Dhabi over in the UAE to the Etihad Arena, we can't wait to meet you, and hopefully you get to also meet FP as well. He's going to be swarmed, I'm sure, with many, many people who are trying to talk to him about all the latest developments over at Sanctum.
No, I have always time for our users and holders.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, FP.
No, thank you for your time.